Hi, I'm Atreus. I never thought I'd be telling this story, but sometimes life throws curveballs that change everything. My wife Elena and I had been planning our housewarming party for weeks after finally buying our dream home. Everything looks amazing, Elena said, admiring our decorations. Mom called again. She wants to come early to help. I tried to keep my voice neutral. We've got it handled. What time did you tell her to arrive? Same as everyone else, 6. But you know how she is. Elena's smile faltered. She means well. Sure. I busied myself with the speaker system. Margaret Weaver had never approved of me. The doorbell rang at 4:30. Elena opened it to reveal her mother, impeccably dressed and bearing a casserole dish. I thought you might need help setting up, Margaret announced, sweeping past me without acknowledgement. Actually, I began. Elena, dear, these appetizers won't do for the Hendersons. Let me fix something proper. Elena shot me an apologetic look. Mom, we planned everything carefully. Don't be silly. I've been hosting parties since before you were born. I pulled Elena aside. Hey, could you pick up more ice? I'll handle things here. After Elena left, Margaret inspected our home with critical eyes. This electrical work is shoddy. Who did you hire? I did most of it myself. That explains it. Men always think they can handle these things without proper training. The doorbell rang again. That's odd. Guests shouldn't arrive for another hour, I said. Must be the caterers I called, Margaret stated casually. I froze. You ordered caterers? Without telling us? Of course. Your little snack platters wouldn't impress anyone. Margaret, we can't afford. I'm paying. Consider it my housewarming gift. She smiled thinly. Go get cleaned up before everyone arrives. You look disheveled. Reluctantly, I headed upstairs to change. From the bathroom window, I spotted Elena returning with the ice. The doorbell rang again. I was buttoning my shirt when the lights went out. Margaret, is everything okay? I called out. No response. I tried the bathroom door. Locked. From the outside. Very funny, Margaret. Open the door. Silence. My phone buzzed with a text from Elena. Where are you? The Ramirez family is here early. I'm locked in the upstairs bathroom. Your mother shut off the power and locked me in. Call the landlord for the spare key. 10 minutes later, I heard voices outside. I don't understand, came Elena's muffled voice. Why would you do this? He's not good enough for you, Margaret replied. Never has been. This house, this party, it's all pretense. I was proving a point. By humiliating him, by locking him in? Elena, came a new voice. Carlos Ramirez, my colleague. We can hear everything. Is Atreus okay? I'm fine, I shouted, just locked in with no power. This is insane, said Diane Ramirez. Should we call someone? No need for that, Margaret snapped. This is family business. Through the window, I could see more guests arriving, confused by the darkened house. Mom, give me the key, now. Elena's voice had taken on a steely quality I'd rarely heard. You'll thank me later, Margaret insisted. He's turning you against your family. That's when I knew. This wasn't just about today. This was about control, about Margaret's determination to sabotage our relationship. The locksmith arrived 30 minutes later, freeing me from my bathroom prison. By then, most guests had left, with only the Ramirez family and my best friend Jake remaining. I've never been so embarrassed, Elena whispered. I can't believe she'd go this far. This isn't the first time, I said quietly. What do you mean? Elena's eyes widened. Remember when your car wouldn't start before your job interview? I found these in the garage last week. I handed her my phone, showing pictures of spark plugs hidden in Margaret's knitting bag. That doesn't mean anything, Elena said uncertainly. Carlos leaned forward. Elena, I hate to say this, but your mother was telling everyone outside that Atreus had a drinking problem and was passed out upstairs. What? Elena gasped. She was trying to save face, Diane explained. When people asked where you were, Atreus, she told them you were indisposed and winked like it was some inside joke. Jake nodded grimly. She told my girlfriend you had anger issues and Elena was too afraid to leave you. Elena's face crumpled. She wouldn't say those things. Call Sarah Jenkins, Carlos suggested. She recorded some of it on her phone because she thought something weird was happening. Elena's hands trembled as she dialed. The conversation was brief, ending with Elena thanking Sarah in a hollow voice. She sent me the video, Elena whispered. Mom told everyone you were abusive. You know that's not true, I said, reaching for her hand. Of course I do, Elena's eyes flashed. But she's telling our friends, our colleagues, people who could affect your career. Jake crossed his arms. This is defamation, man. You could take legal action. Against my mother-in-law? I shook my head. This goes beyond family disagreements, Carlos said. If she's spreading lies that could harm your reputation, that's serious. There's more, I admitted. Remember when your dad's watch disappeared? The one he left you in his will? Elena's face went pale. She said you probably pawned it. Check your mom's guest room closet next time you're there. Top shelf, blue jewelry box. How do you know that? I saw it when I was helping her move that bookcase last month. I took pictures but didn't know how to tell you. Elena stood up abruptly. We're going there now. Elena, wait, Diane cautioned. You're upset. Maybe tomorrow. No, if what Atreus is saying is true, I need to know everything. I'll drive you, Jake offered. Atreus, you should stay here. What are you going to do? I asked Elena. First, I'm going to find my father's watch. Then I'm going to have a conversation with my mother about boundaries and respect. She grabbed her keys. And I'm recording everything. After they left, Carlos placed a hand on my shoulder. You need to document all this. Every incident, every witness, every piece of evidence. I never wanted to come between Elena and her mother. You didn't, Diane assured me. Margaret did that herself. My phone buzzed with a text from Elena. Found the watch, and letters from your mother she never gave me, coming home to show you everything. This isn't about a ruined party anymore, Carlos said. This is about years of manipulation. What would you do? I asked. Document everything, talk to a lawyer, and set boundaries, hard ones. We arranged the meeting at a neutral location, a private room at our local library. Elena's brother Michael joined us for support, looking uncomfortable but resolute. Mom thinks this is about reconciliation, he warned. She has no idea you're confronting her. Good, Elena replied. I want honest reactions, not prepared excuses. When Margaret entered, her smile faltered at the sight of me. What's he doing here? She asked Elena. I thought we were having mother-daughter time. Sit down, Mom, Elena said firmly. We need to talk. About what, dear? About this. Elena placed her father's watch on the table. Found in your closet, exactly where Atreus said it would be. Margaret's eyes narrowed. He went through my things. No, Mom. He saw it months ago and took photos. Photos with dates and timestamps. I was keeping it safe, Margaret protested. With all his financial troubles. What financial troubles? I interjected. We're doing fine. Elena told me. I never said any such thing, Elena interrupted. And these? Elena spread out the cards from my mother. Were you keeping these safe too? Margaret's face hardened. I was protecting you from his controlling family. Michael leaned forward. Mom, I've met his mother. She's not controlling. You don't understand. No, you don't understand, Elena cut in. You locked my husband in our bathroom and turned off our power while telling our friends and colleagues he's abusive and has drinking problems. I never. We have recordings, Mom, Elena said, placing her phone on the table. Sarah Jenkins recorded everything. That nosy little... Careful, I warned. Sarah's father is a lawyer. Margaret's eyes darted between us. This is ridiculous. I've only ever wanted what's best for Elena. By sabotaging her marriage? Michael asked incredulously. This isn't a marriage, it's a mistake, Margaret snapped. He's not good enough for her. That's not your decision to make, Elena replied coldly. I'm your mother, and I'm an adult. My choices are mine. Margaret turned to me. This is your doing. You've turned my children against me. No, Mom, Michael said. Your actions did that. You locked me in, I said quietly. You spread lies about me that could damage my career. You stole family heirlooms and intercepted personal communications. These are criminal actions. Criminal? Margaret scoffed. Don't be dramatic. False imprisonment, defamation, theft, mail fraud, I enumerated. Our lawyer says we have grounds for both criminal charges and a civil suit. You wouldn't dare. We don't want to, Elena interjected. What we want is for this behavior to stop. Margaret stood abruptly. If you're all ganging up on me, I have nothing more to say. She headed for the door. Elena, when you come to your senses, you know where to find me. Sit down, Elena commanded. We're not finished. Surprisingly, Margaret complied. Here's what happens next, Elena continued. You will apologize to Atreus and to everyone you lied to about him. You will return everything you've taken from us, and you will respect our boundaries going forward. Or what? Margaret challenged. Or we file charges and a restraining order, I stated simply. You wouldn't. Elena pulled out a folder. These are statements from witnesses at our party. This is the police report I filed about the missing watch. This is documentation of the mail tampering. We're prepared, Mom. I was trying to help. Margaret's composure finally cracked. Everything I did was out of love. No, I said firmly. It was about control. Please, Margaret turned to Elena, eyes welling with tears. I'm sorry if I overstepped. I just worry about you so much. Save it, Elena replied. Your apology means nothing if your behavior doesn't change. What do you want from me? Margaret's voice had a desperate edge. Distance, I answered honestly. And professional help. Margaret stood again. I don't have to listen to this. You'll regret treating me this way. That sounds like a threat, I observed calmly. Take it however you want. She headed for the door. Elena, call me when you're thinking clearly again. If you walk out that door without resolving this, our lawyer files everything tomorrow morning. Margaret froze, then slowly turned back. Her eyes, when they met mine, held pure hatred. What do you want? 6 months after our confrontation, Elena and I hosted another housewarming party. This time, there were no power outages, no locked doors, and no Margaret. Have you heard from your mom? Jake asked as we grilled in the backyard. Not directly, Elena replied. Michael checks on her weekly. The therapist says she's making progress. The restraining order helped, I added. Clear boundaries were necessary. I still can't believe she showed up at your workplace, Diane said, shaking her head. That was the final straw, I acknowledged. When security had to escort her out screaming that I was destroying her family, my boss finally understood what we'd been dealing with. Carlos handed me a beer. The video from that incident certainly strengthened your case. The judge didn't leave her many options, Elena said. Therapy and boundaries or criminal charges. Do you think she'll ever change? Diane asked gently. Elena shrugged. Maybe. But I'm not waiting around hoping anymore. Have you read any of her letters? Jake asked. They all say the same thing, I replied. That she's sorry we misunderstood her intentions. That everything she did was out of love. Classic non-apology, Carlos observed. The doorbell rang and Elena returned with Michael and his wife, Stephanie. How'd it go? I asked immediately. Michael sighed. Same as always. She asked when you'd come to your senses and drop the restraining order. Did you tell her that's not happening until she completes the court-mandated therapy and acknowledges what she did? Elena asked. I tried. She says the therapist is biased against her. That's the third therapist she said that about, Stephanie added. How are you holding up? I asked Michael. Knowing his position as intermediary couldn't be easy. It's exhausting, he admitted, but necessary. Someone has to maintain contact to make sure she's following the court orders. She did ask me to give you this, Michael said reluctantly, pulling an envelope from his pocket. She said it's different from her other letters. Elena glanced at me questioningly. Your call, I said. She opened the envelope and read silently before passing it to me. Same manipulative tactics, I observed. Subtle blame shifting, minimizing her actions, appealing to family loyalty. The court liaison says she's still minimizing everything in therapy, Michael reported, claiming it was all a big misunderstanding. At least she can't interfere in your lives anymore, Carlos pointed out. The restraining order and the suspended sentence hanging over her head ensure that... It's not the outcome I wanted, Elena admitted. I wanted my mother back. But I've accepted that the mother I thought I had doesn't exist. You created consequences for toxic behavior, I said, taking her hand. That takes courage. We did it together, she corrected me, as a team. Later, as our friends enjoyed the party, Elena and I stood in our kitchen, watching through the window. Any regrets? I asked softly. About setting boundaries? No. About having to? Every day. She could still change, I offered. Elena smiled sadly. She could, but our lives can't wait for that possibility. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This isn't over. Family is forever. I showed it to Elena. New phone number, she observed, violating the order again. I'll call Officer Jenkins tomorrow, I said. Add it to the file. Does it ever end? She wondered aloud. Eventually. Either she'll accept the boundaries or face stricter consequences. I never thought protecting our marriage would mean legal action against my own mother. Sometimes the hardest boundaries to set are with the people closest to us, I replied. But that doesn't make them any less necessary. Through the window, we watched our friends laughing, enjoying the safety of our home, the home we had protected from someone who tried to destroy it. What happens now? Elena asked. We live our lives, we maintain our boundaries, and we remember that we're stronger together than anyone trying to come between us. What would you have done in our situation? Setting boundaries with family is never easy, but sometimes it's necessary for your own well-being. Share your thoughts in the comments below.